turtles have no concept of what artificial light is. And so we've replaced the natural horizon line of the billions of stars reflecting off of the ocean with millions of light over land. And we've canceled out the actual reflective signature of the natural light that is in our natural world, which is the stars at night.
Paul DeMain for IndianCountryTV.com in the beach of Fort Lauderdale, Florida on July 14th. And we're down on the beach here where we just witnessed a couple of real interesting situations, both the birth of some turtles that went down to sea and were counted by volunteers, and a turtle that came up onto the shore and laid eggs and turned around and went back to sea. These are very huge. These are like 100-pound turtles, I think hatchback or saddleback. We're going to talk to some of the people here in Fort Lauderdale. It's a full moon tonight, and these turtles are hatching and going down into the ocean as long as they're not interfered with. So they're following that moon under great big lengthy cycles that told them to go out to sea. Unfortunately, as we look over here to the sides, take a look at that. Those lights over there are illegally being shown tonight according to the law. The law says because an endangered species of turtle is hatching on the shore here, those lights are supposed to be off, but nobody's told the guest that they should be closing their windows. Some of the volunteers says some of these hotels could simply help out by telling their guests to shut the windows, shut the curtains to the windows and shut off your lights, and it'll save the lives of the turtles who are going to try to otherwise come off the beach and go across to the lights that's guiding them, and they won't make it over there. There are volunteers who are intervening and picking them up and taking them out to sea.
Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta, and I'm here with Richard Whitecloud. And can you tell us about where we're at and what's happening tonight?
We're in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale Beach, which is one of the largest sea turtle nesting habitats in the world. And we're under the watchful eye of a full moon tonight, which is helping guide the sea turtles to the ocean correctly. Which is a problem. If they do not get to the ocean, then we aren't keeping the biodiversity of the turtle population in the reef system.
And how many different nesting sites are here approximately this year?
Just in Fort Lauderdale alone, we have several hundred sea turtle nests. But as far as the entire county goes, we have about 1,500 to 1,700 right now. And that's actually up from last year. So we're actually increasing in nest density.
And tonight we got to witness two things. We got to witness babies being born, and we got to witness a mother come up on the beach. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the nesting female comes in from the ocean. She only comes up onto the beach to deposit her eggs. She's the only one of the turtles that comes to shore. The male never comes to shore. The female comes ashore only during her egg-laying migration cycle to do egg deposition. After about 2 months of time of the turtle eggs being in the sand, being warmed by the sun and being cared for by the sand and the earth, the turtles hatch out, hopefully to orient themselves correctly to the ocean, which is the unobstructed horizon that is supposed to be full of millions and millions of stars.
And what guides them to the ocean when they're born?
The stars reflecting off of the surface of the ocean is what is geared for their instincts. They're looking for the unobstructed horizon and bright points of light because they have psychological triggers that instinctually draw them to light sources, kind of like a moth to a flame almost.
Can you tell us what's happening here in Fort Lauderdale with the turtles, with the issues with the motels on the Strip?
Yeah, it's a sad thing because the turtles are actually being neglected almost to the form of animal abuse or cruelty because the artificial lighting that's on the nesting habitat is a very evasive things that humans have put here that the turtles have no concept of what artificial light is. And so we've replaced the natural horizon line of the billions of stars reflecting off of the ocean with millions of light over land. And we've canceled out the actual reflective signature of the natural light that is in our natural world, which is the stars at night.
And is there some kind of regulation that needs to be followed?
There are federal, state, and local regulations that are supposed to manage urban infrastructure lighting on this endangered nesting habitat. The only problem is we have conflicts of interest between political motivated individuals, businesses that are trying to make a profit off of the beach, and not really understanding that this is an actual endangered nesting habitat. It's not just a tourist trap to get people to come down and go to the beach and have ocean recreation. It's a nesting habitat, the second largest in the world.
And what is it that they're supposed to do to educate their guests?
What they're supposed to do to educate their guests is, one, let their guests know what their environmental surroundings are. The state of Florida has a very biodiverse ecology system. 45 minutes from Fort Lauderdale, we have one of the only wetland systems in the world. The Everglades and the Everglade National Forest. But to extrapolate on the environmental resources of what we have 1,100 miles of coastline, several hundred miles of reef systems just in South Florida alone. Plus, we also have umpteen dozen endangered species or threatened species or non-threatened species that are migratory that depend on this type of environment and ecosystem for their survival.
And you've been doing this for like 5 years. How did you get involved?
We got involved when my wife was going to the beach to give a free yoga class that she would give to some of the folks that lived in our neighborhood when she saw hatchling tracks all over the sand. My wife is half Lakota and Irish, but she was raised by some Oneida elders in the state, and she was raised as Turtle Clan. And so when she saw the disoriented turtle tracks, immediately she came home, let me know, and we gathered up some of our friends and went looking to find the turtles. And as we were collecting the turtles, a couple of weeks went by and we were trying to figure out why this endangered sea turtle is not being protected. And we found out that there is no protection for them at night. The laws that govern protection for the Endangered Species Act have nothing as far as enforcement goes when we're talking about the almighty dollar. You know, economy first, environment second. It's like oil and water. No matter how much you shake them up, they'll never mix.
And you guys come out here and document the turtles that are laying the eggs. And is there other people that help you or any organization?
There's the Broward County program that works in conjunction with Nova University. They come out in the morning and mark the crawls and designate the nest locations. Then we come out at night and babysit the nesting mothers that are constantly being approached by people that are on the beach at all hours of the night that just really don't know about the sea turtles, so they run up and approach them because they weren't informed about the habitat.
And what is it that you need to educate people on what they should do when they see sea turtles or where there's habitats?
Well, in any natural environment, stop and pay attention to it first before you come in and become an invasive species of your own accord into that environment. Humans have the tenacity to think that we are better or smarter than the natural world, but we don't have the mental capacity to understand the natural world other than how we can manipulate it. And so being patient and observing your surroundings is the first way to educate yourself. The second way to educate yourself is to reach out and take the initiative to learn about where you are going. Most people, if they research, hotel accommodations in South Florida, they're looking at where they can shop, where they can go and eat, what's fun to do as far as a tourist attraction, maybe going to Disney or taking a parasail ride or a kayak tour. But it's up to the individuals to take the initiative to research where they're going. Learn about what you are going to experience when you get there.
And I heard earlier that there's 3 different kinds of turtle species that come up on shore. Could you tell us about that?
Sure. The leatherback sea turtle is one of our nesting sea turtles that come into South Florida. Their populations are very low. They're critically endangered. Last year we had only about 15 sea turtle nests of the leatherback species in Broward County, which is better than some years. We also have the green sea turtle nests, that come in after the loggerhead sea turtle. So we have 3 species: the leatherback, the loggerhead, and the green sea turtle.
And what was the turtle that we saw up on the shore laying eggs tonight?
That was a loggerhead. That was a loggerhead sea turtle.
Okay, and how many babies were born tonight? Because we also saw another area where there was babies born. And what kind of species was that one?
That was also a loggerhead sea turtle nest. Loggerheads are the predominant species that nest on this habitat. And so we had about 44 baby hatchlings come out of a nest that was deposited about 2 months ago. And fortunately, it was hatched out underneath the full moon. So we had no disorientation effects of the artificial lighting because the moon was the dominant light source.
Can you tell us about the red lights that you use when you're out here in the night?
The red lights are a longer wavelength light. They're not as intense. They preserve our night vision, but they also preserve the night vision of any wildlife. And that's the most important thing when we're out functioning at night. We want to be able to preserve our own night vision for our safety purposes, but we don't want to be offensive or evasive to the animals that we're trying to provide care for.
Can you share with us, you had talked earlier about the connection of the turtle and the importance of it with Mother Earth and us as human beings?
Yeah. The connection with the turtle is pretty profound through a lot of Native American folklore and cultural belief systems, because a lot of tribes believe that the earth was formed on the back of a turtle, the land that we're standing on itself. But also the fact that the turtle carries the cycles of the moon in the scutes of her shell. And then she also carries the cycle of our calendar month by the 28 segments of shell around the outside of her carapace. And so it's a way that we can see universal connections between animal sacred geometry of how their body is formed in relation to how we exist in our form on this planet. And it helps remind us that we're all connected in some way, shape, or form on the universal level. And that's just the best way to develop a respect for your life, because you're respecting the life that you have by showing respect to another life form.
And so you talked about how the turtle was the beginning and how we need to protect that.
Yeah. The turtle in a lot of legends is the beginning, and if we lose the turtle from our ecosystem, we're going to lose ourselves.
And what else can we do to help protect the turtle? Is there something we can do to help encourage these businesses to follow the regulations?
Yeah, there's things that we can do to encourage people to always have better behavior. The first step to encourage better behavior is compassion, and bringing them to the education. When we engage people out here on the nesting habitat, we're doing it with love, because we want them to share our joy in experiencing the ability that we have to help a creature that cannot help itself, when we're the ones that made its habitat inhospitable. And so there's a lot of things that people that can't necessarily participate here on the beach do to help us. They can go to our website, SeaTurtleOversightProtection.org. They can download information. They can contact our state and federal representatives and officials. They can contact our environmental protection departments. Anything that they can do to strike up a conversation, not just about saving the sea turtles, but the overall ecology as a whole, because you remove one link from a chain and the chain falls apart. And we have to really develop and reconnect to the earth if we're going to survive the next cycle in this planetary evolution. We just have to.
Well, thank you for taking some time out of your busy night. I know you got to be checking nests and everything, and for doing all this hard work to help protect the sea turtle. I'm
Thank you.
Kimberlie Acosta with IndianCountryTV.com.
We don't belong here on the beach at night. This is not natural for us to be here, because normally something would be here ready to eat us.
In the prehistoric world.
You know what I'm saying?
They're prehistoric, right? How old are Loggerhead?
Over
Millions,
100,
right?
over 110 million years.
Over 110 million years this animal has been walking the earth. We've only been walking the earth for 200 years. How many years have you been walking the earth?
2.6 million.
We've been walking the earth 2.6 million. Now he's highly educated. What else do you do? What do you do for money, bro? What do you do for work?
I do environmental engineering and consulting, R&D prototyping for off-the-grid infrastructure development. So